Slow Car Repair, Slow Car Garage. What we're doing right now is we're getting ready to take off this intake manifold. I want to access the heater hose down there. The plastic elbow is leaking coolant. So I'm going to, of course, remove the air intake, take these connectors off. Of course, you want to disconnect the negative on your battery. Take this cover off. You have to take the fuel rail out. It's not hard. It's like 4 8mm bolts, and then intake manifold bolts like 10mm. You just take off a couple hoses, take the connectors off, and leave the throttle body connected. So we're gonna go ahead and replace that plastic elbow with a straight rubber hose that comes in like this, and it has a curve like an L shape. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. So this is it right here. It's gonna go in like that, and I'm gonna have to cut it down to size because it's too long on this straight part here. So I'm gonna cut it down to size, get some hose clamps, and go ahead and replace the plastic elbow with straight hose. All right, so I got the manifold out. The reason why I took it off is because you can see that pool of coolant down there that I suspect is coming from this connector here. It's kind of dried up though. Like the heat from the engine kind of dries it, but just go ahead and replace this. Take this clip off. Go ahead and kind of clean around the gasket areas. Make sure they're clean. Should be able to pull these tabs back and move this. Yeah, see, my finger is wet when I reach under here. So that's letting me know it. Yeah, my finger's wet. I can't get off with one hand, so I'm gonna have to free my hand up. All right, guys, so the connector obviously it broke, so I just went ahead and tore the other piece off. This hose actually fits pretty well. I put it past the nipple, so I'm gonna put a clamp here and then a clamp before the nipple. So a clamp here and a clamp here. This crimp, I broke it off with like a big screwdriver. I just basically just pried it back. And so I can pull this hose off here. Really wasn't hard to do. Thought about getting a cutter and all that, and I was just like, you know what, nah. Let me just use a screwdriver and pry it, and it worked out pretty well. Toss that. So obviously this hose is way too long, like I said before. So we're gonna go ahead and cut it almost like right at where this D ends right here. I might do a little bit further just so I can have some playroom. And what I'm gonna do is just, instead of putting over a nipple, I'm gonna just stop it here and secure it down real tight with some hose clamps. And we should be good. So got the hose on. I used constant tension clamps and also screw clamps here, just so I can ensure that we don't get any leaking or movement out of these clamps here. Hose is on there pretty tight, and these clamps they can be over tightened. Yeah, we're gonna roll with this, see what we got, put everything back together, and hopefully we're all good, no leaks. All right, so I pretty much got everything back together. Manifold's back on, fuel rail's back in. So now we're just gonna go ahead and plug in all the electrical connectors, put my intake back on, refill this expansion tank back up with coolant, start the car, let it bleed if it needs to bleed of air, and that should be it for the video, guys. Hopefully, I am praying that there are no leaks on that hose I just installed. All right, so I got the car started with the radiator cap off, just in case there's any air pockets in there. I'll let that bleed out. Right now, I see no leaks on that hose that I replaced. I'm waiting on the car to get to operator temperature. I have the heat on full blast, as you can see. So we're still waiting on that coolant to get up to temp. So far, so good. Yeah, my main thing was just like hoping that that hose that I just put together didn't leak or anything, and I don't see any leaks. Once the car gets warmed up enough, I'm gonna screw the cap back on, and I'm going to tap the gas a couple times so I can get that coolant flowing quicker through the system, to see if I can get it to penetrate through that hose that I just put on there. Hopefully, you know, it doesn't. Hopefully it stays sealed, because if not, then I don't know. I mean, I'll have to go back and just kind of redo everything. But so far, so good. Heating level is pretty good. All right, so after letting the car go up to operating temp, fan cycled a couple times. Everything looks good. There's no overheating. The hoses that I installed are not leaking. Everything's dry. Everything looks good. Everything's up to temp. I had the car running for about 15 minutes now, maybe more. Everything looks good. That's it for today's video, guys. So Car Repair, Car Garage. Did a lot today. Saw a new car. Until next time, peace.